So, with all of the talk about the upcoming season, the focus has shifted to 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton. The British superstar's career has been called into question following the controversial manner in which he lost the World Championship title last year. As he stated during the Mercedes launch of the new 2022 car, he'll not let the controversial end of last season in Abu Dhabi define his Formula One career or get into his head. However, some prominent figures in the sport have recently called that into question, casting doubt on Hamilton's mental fortitude. So, without further ado, let's see what the paddock has to say. Former Formula One driver David Coulthard believes Red Bull driver Max Verstappen has gotten into Mercedes counterpart Lewis Hamilton's mind following their intense battle during the 2021 Formula One season. The two drivers competed for the entire season last year, and the championship was decided in the final race of the 2021 season in Abu Dhabi, which Verstappen won in dramatic fashion. Coulthard told media that Verstappen was a deserving new world champion, adding that the attacking driving style of the Red Bull driver had gotten into Hamilton's head after the epic season last year. "I think Max has managed to get into Hamilton's head. Lewis is a great driver and deserved to win in Abu Dhabi. However, I also think that Verstappen deserves the title. He has a huge fighter's heart. Wherever he sees a gap, he immediately attacks. That makes him a worthy world champion." And, for the most part, it appears Coulthard is correct. As a result of the premiere of the new season of Drive to Survive, some intriguing revelations have emerged. In it, Lewis Hamilton implied that Max Verstappen was a bully on the F1 track. The third episode of the series is set in Silverstone, where Verstappen started on pole but retired after a high-speed collision with Hamilton, who went on to win his home race. In previously unseen footage, Hamilton described Verstappen as aggressive as hell and called the Dutchman a bully on the track. I think Max is aggressive as hell, and more often than not he pushes it to the limit and beyond. I've raced against a lot of drivers. There's always bullies, but that's not how I operate. I just try and beat them on track. Hamilton also claimed that the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was manipulated to allow Verstappen to win, and the 37-year-old hinted that he considered retiring from the sport in the aftermath. But he's ready to go on the attack in 2022 and claim what he considers redemption for a world title record-breaking 8th time. "I never said I was going to stop. I love doing what I do. It was a difficult time for me, a time I needed to take a step back. I had my family around me and created great moments. Then I got to a point where I decided to go on the attack again and wanted to work with Toto and George. It's cool to see George come into the team with his energy. I feel that already within the team and look forward to the season." While Coulthard on one hand is adamant that Verstappen has gotten into Hamilton's head, others are skeptical. After a winter of speculation about his future, Hamilton is gearing up for a new attempt at history, and the Mercedes driver has already issued a warning shot to Verstappen and Red Bull, telling them to wait until you see this year. Former F1 driver Anthony Davidson, who raced 24 times and now works as a simulated driver for Mercedes, believes that was a powerful statement of intent from Hamilton, and he expects him to bounce back in style this year. When Lewis Hamilton comes out with a sentence like that, you have to take notice. He sure is fired up to win this thing once and for all, and I think he'll be hard to beat. He's certainly coming into this season with a very bullish mentality. Now, even as the new 2022 cars hit the track for testing, debate over the controversial end to the previous season continues. I know, when will this ever end? And while Hamilton has remained largely silent, Davidson believes that he will have felt robbed. There will be nothing more than Lewis wants from this season than to destroy Max Verstappen. Let's not beat around a bush. He feels absolutely robbed as to what happened last year in Abu Dhabi. He wants to come out with a dominant car, and he doesn't even want to see Max on track, I'm sure. He just wants to show him a clean pair of heels, disappear off into the distance, and win his 8th World Championship. Davidson's Sky colleague Karun Chandok agreed, saying Hamilton's reaction to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix could only go one of two ways. One of two things was going to happen after Abu Dhabi. Either Lewis was going to get disillusioned with the sport, or you'll pull the tail on the tiger. I suspect we've got the latter. Meanwhile, Damon Hill, another Sky Sports F1 pundit, predicted Hamilton would win the championship this season. "I think Lewis knows what he's dealing with Max. I think Max has shown he's a hardcore, uncompromising driver and competitor, and Lewis showed last year he's willing to show the hard side to him too." Now, as we all know all too well, the car is a major factor in determining whether or not Hamilton will be able to compete for the championship. Fortunately for the Briton, it seems Mercedes are set to continue their dominance now that we've seen what the new cars can do at the pre-season test. The Mercedes duo of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell topped the timing boards at the end of the first 3-day weekend at Barcelona, with Mercedes finishing the second most laps of any team. Another point of interest was some of the technical solutions developed by the German manufacturer, with headlines made about the W13 having virtually no side pods due to cleverly repackaging its cooling system. The car caused quite a stir at the second test in Bahrain, with Red Bull team principal Christian Horner allegedly declaring the concept illegal. Following a conversation with respected Automotor und Sport journalist Michael Schmidt, Horner was quoted as saying that the design of the disappearing side pods on the Mercedes that appeared on the first day of the second test are a step too far. However, when asked to comment during another interview, Horner denied ever making those remarks. I was slightly surprised to be reading comments that I'm supposed to have been making, but there we go. When directly asked about the Mercedes car, Horner said, "To be honest with you, I haven't paid a great deal of attention to it. It's obviously a fairly different concept, but that's for the aero guys and designers to get into." Now, the side pods across the cars have naturally provided a variety of ideas, but Mercedes appears to have gone a step further with its package, with cooling inboard resulting in the striking sleek appearance. Even Ross Brawn, F1's managing director motorsports, whose department devised the new aerodynamic regulations, admitted that Mercedes' design was extreme. It's impossible to anticipate the creative scope of the teams. Once they get the regulations, you've got 1,000 engineers working on all the regulations and how they can use them. Some of the solutions, quite honestly, we never anticipated. I think we will go back in to investigate those solutions and make sure they maintain the objective of the new rules. I think they do. Our initial impressions are that there is nothing here we would be overly concerned about in terms of those objectives in the regulations. So it's just fascinating to see such a wide range of solutions. And what's become a step change for the teams is a lot of new cooler innovation. A lot of innovation in the heat exchangers and the radiators, which has given them more scope to create the designs they've got. In reference to the Mercedes concept, Brawn stated that his department did not anticipate such a design. It's a very extreme interpretation of the regulation. Inevitably, there's going to be a lot of debate about their interpretation. That's what happens with new regulations. However hard you try to close off all the options, and believe me, we've closed off hundreds of them, innovation in Formula 1 is always extreme. So from our perspective, it's largely about the objective of the regulations. From the team's perspective, they want to be sure no one has taken an interpretation they don't feel is correct. So I think there's going to be a lot of debate in the next few days. Brawn concluded the car's design was impressive after inspecting it in the pit lane. This is the great thing about the innovation in Formula 1. It's just keeping it within boundaries, sensible, that there are no compromises in terms of the objective, in terms of what we wanted to achieve. I think you have to be fair. When a team comes up with an idea, an innovation, a novelty, you shouldn't penalise it straight away. The regulator of the sport knows what's going on and they're okay with it so far. But of course, a team may come in and raise an objection the FIA hasn't considered, and then we have a problem. I've been through that many a time where your idea is okay, the FIA agree it's okay, but a team comes in with another perspective that hasn't been considered and it's an argument that's valid. I feel there's going to be a lot of discussion that's valid. Verstappen, on the other hand, stated that he's unconcerned about the design. No, I'm not concerned. We can only focus on ourselves. I said this so many times last year, and we have to do it again this year, even if the cars look a bit different. There are so many unknown things what we need to learn about, so I'm not worried at all. While it appears that the paddock is still divided over the events in Abu Dhabi and Lewis Hamilton's reaction, we won't know where everything stands until the first race in Bahrain. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. So, what do you think Lewis Hamilton's mental state will be like heading into the 2022 season? Do you believe he'll be able to withstand the pressure? In terms of car performance, where do you think the teams will stand? We'd love to hear your thoughts.